The package arrived just after lunch, dropped on my porch like an afterthought. The mailman didn't ring the bell. Maybe he didn't want to wait in the cold drizzle, or maybe the box gave him the creeps. I wouldn't blame him. There was no return address, only my name written in dark, looping handwriting across the top, and beneath it, one line scrawled like an afterthought. You were always his favorite. I stood staring at that handwriting for a long minute. I hadn't seen it since I was a child. Grandpa's signature long and thin, like someone writing while half asleep. He'd been gone for nearly a month, and I'd cried less than I thought I would. We were close once, but not lately. Inside the box, wrapped in layers of yellowed newspaper, was his old wall clock, the one from the study. I hadn't seen it since I was 10, the same clock that used to tick in slow, thunderous beats while he read me Poe or Lovecraft. It had always given me chills, even back then. The wood was still rich, reddish mahogany, darkened with age. The brass pendulum hung heavy and unmoving, shaped like a serpent's eye. The Roman numerals on its face were worn smooth. It looked more like a museum piece than something that should be in a one-bedroom apartment. I should have boxed it back up and left it in a closet. But I was grieving. Or maybe just lonely. The walls of my apartment had begun to feel tight and hollow at once. That's what made me hang the clock above my living room fireplace. I wanted something of him nearby. But that very night, just past midnight, it started ticking. And it was ticking backward. It wasn't the ticking that woke me. It was the sense that something had shifted. Like the room itself had moved 2 inches to the left and no one told me. I sat up in bed and stared into the dark, heart thudding like I'd heard a noise. Then I saw it. The clock, silhouetted in the faint streetlight glow, ticking audibly in reverse. The second hand marched backward, not erratically, smooth, deliberate. I watched for nearly a minute, transfixed. I thought maybe it was broken. Maybe some mechanical thing inside had slipped out of place. I climbed out of bed to check it, but as I stood, I forgot why I'd gotten up. I stood barefoot on the carpet, suddenly blank, unsure if I was dreaming. The next morning, I overslept by hours. When I checked my phone, I had 6 missed calls from work. I stared at the screen, trying to remember what I was supposed to be doing that day. Wasn't I meant to present something? I'd written a report, hadn't I? I opened my laptop to find it, but my fingers froze over the keys. Nothing looked familiar. The files were there, but they felt like they belonged to someone else. I said my name aloud just to anchor myself. It sounded hollow, rehearsed, like I was reciting a stranger's biography. And then I heard it again from the other room. The clock was ticking. Ever since the clock arrived, things have been different. The days started to blur. I couldn't remember what I'd had for dinner the night before, or if I'd eaten at all. I stood at the kitchen sink, looking out the window at the street below, and realized I didn't recognize any of the neighbors walking by. I'd lived here for 3 years. At least, I thought I had. I found a scarf in the closet that wasn't mine, a toothbrush in the drawer still in its packaging. There were 3 unfamiliar contacts in my phone labeled just with emojis. I didn't remember adding them. My memories were slipping, slowly at first. Just the edges, then whole pieces. Like someone had turned on a faucet in my brain and memories were circling the drain, too fast to hold on to. I walked to the clock, staring at it like I might catch it in the act. Its hands continued to move backward, second by second, hour by hour. At 3:12 a.m., I swear the room got colder. Not like a draft, more like something breathing on me from behind. I watched the clock's hand crawl in reverse as a dull ache bloomed behind my eyes. I blinked and suddenly didn't remember what day it was. Didn't know how old I was. I touched my face. My skin felt tighter. I dug through my drawers for proof, something to tell me I hadn't lost my mind. I pulled out a shoebox full of old photographs, smiling faces, beach vacations, birthday cakes. Except they weren't right. People were missing from the pictures. In one, I stood in front of a Christmas tree alone, holding a gift I didn't recognize. In another, I was laughing with someone, except there was no one beside me. My arms were wrapped around empty air. I flipped through 20 pictures, heart racing. In every one, it was just me. The faces I knew, the friends, co-workers, even my sister, had vanished like they'd been airbrushed out of my life. Only one photo remained untouched. Me, 10 years old, sitting in Grandpa's study, cross-legged beneath the clock. He sat behind me, hand resting gently on my shoulder. I remembered the moment. His voice. "This clock doesn't keep time, Pumpkin. It eats it." At the time, I'd giggled, thought he was being silly. But as I stared at the photo, something tightened in my chest. My grandfather didn't make jokes. He left warnings dressed as riddles. That night, my dream didn't feel like a dream. I was in high school again, walking through the halls, the weight of a backpack pulling at my shoulders. I opened a locker that was still mine. I remembered the combination. I could smell the hallway, the scent of pencil shavings and hallway cleaner. I kissed a boy behind the gym, the same boy I hadn't thought about in 15 years. I woke up gasping. When I reached for my phone, it wasn't the phone I owned. It was a model I hadn't used in a decade. I couldn't remember buying it, couldn't remember upgrading. I looked in the mirror. My face, rounder, younger. My tattoo was gone. I screamed. The clock ticked louder, like it was proud of itself. I grabbed my laptop, now demanding an old password I no longer used. My bank account didn't exist. My ID card said I was 23. I was not 23. At least not yesterday. I tried to destroy the clock, pulled it off the wall and pried open the back with a kitchen knife. I expected gears, springs, something explainable. But inside was something wrong, a pulsing living mass. Pale pink, like flesh, slick and twitching. It throbbed softly, as if breathing. Wires wrapped around it like veins, feeding into the wood. Beneath it, etched into the inner wood panel, were words carved deep. "What was taken shall be unmade." As I read the words, something slipped from my memory. I forgot my birthday. I forgot my address. I forgot what my mother's voice sounded like. The clock didn't break. Not when I slammed it on the floor. Not when I tried to tear out the pendulum. It kept ticking, backward, steady as ever. I woke the next morning in pajamas I hadn't worn since I was 15. I walked to the bathroom. The mirror didn't lie. I was a teenager again. My body smaller, my voice thin, my hair longer, uncolored. I opened the fridge. Lunchables, juice boxes, a bottle of grape soda. I tried to call my sister. A man picked up. "Wrong number," he said. I asked for Elise. There was a long pause. "No one here by that name," he said slowly. "Wait. Who is this?" My mouth opened. Nothing came out. I didn't remember. I'm writing this by hand, in a child's notebook. My laptop is gone. My phone is plastic and has no numbers saved. The TV won't turn on. My legs barely reach the floor when I sit at the kitchen table. I think I'm 9 now. I don't remember how to spell Wednesday. I forgot how to tie my shoes this morning. The clock ticks louder. It's on the floor now, where I left it. But somehow, it moved closer. It's not on the wall anymore, but it watches me. It knows. Last night, I dreamed of being in a crib. Tonight, I think I'll disappear completely. If you find this, don't hang the clock. Don't touch it. Don't let it in your house. It doesn't tell time. It steals it.